Okay, busy day, a historic day around the parliamentary precinct. Sitting at the Cape Town City Hall yesterday, we had the budget speech, but after that, two important votes in the National Assembly. For the first time, judges in South Africa have been impeached in the country's 30-year democratic history. On Wednesday, MPs voted overwhelmingly in favour of impeaching Judge John Hlophe over years of legal wranglings, but also Judge Nkola Motata. Remember in 2007, his drunk driving case, Judge John Hlophe's case, that stems from 2008 after complaints were laid against him for trying to influence two constitutional court judges in a case involving the former president Jacob Zuma. Alison Tilley is with the advocacy group Judges Matter. Why is this important to South Africa and South Africans, Alison, that a judge, can be held accountable and then removed from the office and the title and the perks that they enjoy for the rest of their lives? Alison, good morning.
Good morning. I think what we know is that accountability is difficult. It's hard. It does take time. But I think what we are seeing here is judicial accountability, which is, as you say, historic. Yesterday, the first time that we've seen judges removed for misconduct. But importantly, also that judges are accountable. They can be held accountable. And in this instance, they have been held accountable. And, you know, the decision of the National Assembly will go to the President for signature, and that's the end of the road.
Should accountability take 16 years in Judge John Hlophe's case and 17 years in Judge Motata's case? Should accountability take 16 and 17 years?
No, it shouldn't. And I think what we have seen throughout this process is both if I said technical problems, the legislation changed quite, in quite an important way halfway through the process. There was also a lot of going to court to try and figure out what certain things meant. Was it all constitutional? But of course, it took too long. And I think one of the things that we know is that the Judicial Service Commission coming up in April, they are going to have to think about how to make the system simpler and faster. They have handed, as I understand it, proposals to the Minister of Justice. So I think everybody's aware that it took too long, and now the question is how to fix it. And I think that is going to be on the agenda going forward.
Impeached judges lose the salary that they enjoy even after retirement. They lose that salary. They lose some of those perks. Does a judge who is impeached, who loses that salary, that title, those perks, are they still members of the bar? Can they still then practice law if they have then found to have committed impeachable offences by the National Assembly? Can they still practice in a personal capacity?
Well, the difficulty is that I think they would find it hard, let's say, to be, readmitted as an advocate, because they've been found guilty of gross misconduct, so they're no longer fit and proper, and I think that would be the problem. If they wanted to work as, let's say, consultants to business or give advice to people in the context of mergers and acquisitions, let's say, I think that would be something that they could still do, but they can't go back into the profession.
Why do judges enjoy salaries and perks for life? And this, from what I understand, is to sort of insulate them from any other interference or influence, because judges, even retired judges, could be called back to serve on commissions of inquiry or judicial bodies, and salaries and the perks for life is largely meant to insulate him from other financial interference or conflicts of interest. Is that the case, Alison?
Yes, exactly. They do still do work. They have to, when they're still under 75, make themselves available for further work for a couple of months a year. If they don't do that, they actually get a salary cut. Once they hit 75, everybody leaves them alone, and they don't have to do anything further. But they are getting that salary in order to make sure that when they're sitting on the bench, they're not looking ahead and thinking, I didn't provide for my retirement. I need to make sure that I get money in order to do that. It's intended exactly to insulate them from those kinds of concerns.
Appreciate your analysis and the advocacy over the last few years. Alison Tilley of Judges Matter, really appreciate your time.